beyond the Shanghai Cooperation Organization foreign ministers meeting, there were a lot of bilaterals that took place on the sidelines. The one big bilateral for India was the India-China bilateral. External Affairs Minister Dr. Jaishankar met his Chinese counterpart Qin Gang for the second time, and a long meeting that focused on the border tensions between India and China, particularly in the eastern Ladakh sector. But will there be de-escalation ahead of Xi Jinping's likely visit in July for the SCO summit, or later in the year for the G20 summit? We'll see.
The world's largest military standoff has just entered its fourth year. The giant armies of India and China, which entered a confrontation in eastern Ladakh in May 2020, remain deployed in huge numbers, postured for war, but held frozen by the ongoing drive to defuse things diplomatically. Just weeks after their first meeting during the G20 meet in Delhi, the SCO foreign ministers met in Goa on a new stage. The nearly 30-minute meeting focused on resolving outstanding issues and ensuring peace and tranquility in border areas.
Ties with China are abnormal. It cannot be business as usual. That was the message of Dr. Jaishankar ahead of his second meeting with Chinese Foreign Minister Qin Gang.
The big focus was on de-escalation, in order to pave the way for Chinese President Xi Jinping's visit to the SCO and G20 summits scheduled in July and September this year in India. The Indian side has made it clear that it cannot be business as usual after the Galwan incident and the continued Chinese presence in eastern Ladakh since May 2020. Dr. Jaishankar has said the state of India-China ties is abnormal, and there are real problems in the bilateral ties which need to have an open and candid dialogue.
The bulk of our conversation, understandably, was about the current state of our relationship, which many of you have heard me describe as abnormal. And I think those were among the adjectives that I used in that meeting. We have, there are real problems in that relationship that need to be looked at, that need to be discussed very openly and candidly between us.
On April the 24th, the Indian and Chinese armies held their 18th round of talks in Ladakh, agreeing once again to pursue the disengagement effort. In 3 years, the two sides have managed to agree to pull back troops from a handful of friction points, including Galwan, Pangong So, and the Hot Springs area. But dangerously close deployments continue to simmer in Depsang and Demchok sectors. The army-level talks were followed last month by Chinese Defence Minister Li Shangfu's visit to Delhi to attend the SCO Defence Ministers meet on April the 27th. His Indian counterpart had described the situation with this plain speak.
पिछले G20 में भी यह संभव नहीं हो पाया था कि सब एक मंच पर एक साथ आ जाएं, पर भारत में तो सब आ रहे हैं पार्टिसिपेट.
सभी आ रहे हैं.
ये भारत की शक्ति का.
देखिए, इस सच्चाई को कोई नकार नहीं सकता कि अंतर्राष्ट्रीय जगत में भारत की प्रतिष्ठा मोदी जी के नेतृत्व में बढ़ी है.
The India-China de-escalation has been incremental and slow, reflecting China's continued impulse to change the border status quo, while India's unrelenting defense posture has locked the two Asian giants in an embrace. Will the two countries find a new path forward? With Geeta Mohan in Panjim, Goa, Bureau Report, India Today.